The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Thank you for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge, where you get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques so you can leapfrog over the pack in sales, influence, and persuasion. Remember to visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com to enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the Influencer's Edge Show. Hey, welcome back to the Influencer's Edge. This is the show that colors outside the lines, disconnects the dots, and thinks outside the box. I am doing this show today on 5.5 hours sleep because there she left just now. One of my cats whined for food at my door at 4:30 in the morning. It took me an hour, 90 minutes to get back to sleep, but we're going to do our best for and with our guest, Stephen. How do you pronounce that wonderful French last name?
Dossou, Stephen Dossou.
Dossou. You
There you
probably
go.
get so many chicks. Just all you have to do is say your last name. I am Dossou. Dossou. And then you follow it up with je t'aime, je t'aime. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And you're, I love this guy, but I'm so envious. He's in Finland.
Yeah,
Finland.
I am in Finland, up north, the north of Earth.
And the women there are just amazing. And the Finns don't really consider themselves Scandinavians, do they? The language is not Scandinavian. It's more akin to Hungarian, yes?
Yes, yeah. They don't really consider themselves Scandinavians, but they actually do. They consider Norway, Sweden, and Denmark Scandinavia, but they are actually part of the group too, in a
All
way.
right, let's get down to it. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio. Your bio is interesting. Most bios are batshit boring, and we just skip right over them. And you're allowed to curse on this show, so if you want to throw in a fuck, shit, whatever, we don't care. So
Okay, awesome.
Stephen Dissol is a TEDx speaker. Where did you do your TEDx talk, my man?
In Netherlands, TEDx Leiden University. He's on YouTube actually. Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Author, what did you write? What's the name of your
I
book?
wrote the book Be Transformed: How to Live Free of Fear, Self-Doubt, and Low Self-Esteem.
Wow.
Yeah.
My self-esteem is pretty super high, and self-doubt, I'm so delusional, I don't think I have any, but that's fine. Entrepreneur dedicated, not just interested, but dedicated to empowering individuals and startups to break boundaries and achieve extraordinary success as the founder of Salesforce Catalyst. That's a cool name, not Salesforce,
No,
which is but
still.
Salesforce. How'd
Yeah.
you come up with that name?
So that's a very interesting question, Paul. So when I came up with that question, I remember I had just um, gotten out of a very, very bad business deal. I had left corporate, started a new company, and a year later, it basically crashed. So I was back to scratch. I remember I was also engaged to a South African lady at the time. Refila was her name. And, I had lost the lady, was lost basically back to zero, after hustling and working very hard for 5 to 7 years, all the way from Togo to South Africa. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do next? And at that point, I was thinking to myself, what has brought me thus far? Yes, resilience was part of it, but it was also really about my ability to communicate with my team and bring about the best in them because I was at the time the youngest senior manager the company has ever had. So it was actually an American company based in Africa. Walmart, so Mass Mart division of Walmart in Southern Africa, right? So I was one of the regional managers at Messmart. So yeah, and I left South Africa, moved to Singapore in Asia. So when I started Salesforce Catalyst, I remember I was still sleeping in a dormitory, and I was like,
Wait, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Pause the pause button. You were
okay,
sleeping in
okay.
a what kind of tree?
A dormitory. They call
Oh, a
it bunk bed.
dormitory.
Dormitory, yeah,
That
dormitory, yeah.
the accent is a little difficult to understand, but a dormitory. Okay, I thought you were sleeping in a tree. That would have made
No,
it more interesting.
the tree part. I slept in a tree when I left Togo at the age of 18 and was on the road for almost 2 years. That was when I slept in a tree. So at that point, I was like, what am I gonna call this new venture of mine? And I was like, life always goes up and down. So it's like a bunch of waves. Waves go up and down. And what gives us the strength and the courage to keep going is that inner force. So I was like, you know what? Let's put them together, Salesforce. And we always want to be growing, going ahead. So Salesforce Catalyst. But that's how
Did
I came
you?
up with that name.
So whenever someone has an extraordinary trait, like, and you do have resilience, even though you didn't use that term or negated it. Did you have an example in your life of being able to look at something and say, okay, what's my next step? I'm not going to dwell on the failure. I'm not going to dwell on this woman who broke my heart into a billion pieces. I'm going to move forward. Did you have a mentor or a model in your life, a parent? Where did you? That's not just something we should gloss over. We'll get to how you talk about sales, but that's a very important part of who you are. How did you get
Mm.
it? Was it just in your spirit, or did someone model it, or where did you get it from?
Yeah, Paul, that's a very, very good question. And it's something that I have myself spent time really thinking about, this last few years. And I will say that there's a part of it that is inherent to my being, but at the same time, I think having had very, very strict parents, I
Mhm.
mean, back in the days, I mean, Paul, you've lived on Earth for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure that when you were a kid, you knew something as getting like your behind being beaten properly. Okay.
Well, when I had a Jewish mother and father, when I cursed,
Okay.
my mother would wash my mouth out with soap. She would take
Whoa.
me in the
Okay.
sink by the back of the shirt and make me eat soap.
Right. You see, so yeah, I pretty much grew up, in a similar house like that. So my father was extremely, extremely strict. He was one of those guys who will ask you, okay, Steve, what time are you finishing school today? You said 3 p.m. Okay, very good. How long does it take you to walk from school to home? You say 45 minutes. Okay, good. So that means if I get here at 3:46, you'll be home, right? You'll be like, yes, sir. Okay. And if this guy arrives at 3:50, Paul, 3:50, 50, and you're not home, I mean, you get a bunch of beatings, okay? you know?
It's funny how
So
we can laugh at it now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
not at all. It wasn't funny at the time, but I to be honest, today I've grown as a man, and to be honest, I'm quite grateful for that. So I think
Yeah.
the foundation already of that resilience stems from there, but also having, when I left my home at about 17 and a half, turned about 18, and I had to face life myself, I just was committed that, look, whatever happens, I have to succeed somehow. So I just had that relentlessness,
That's
that resolve,
extraordinary.
exactly, at
That's
whatever.
extraordinary. Uh, to commit is even more powerful to decide. I heard Tony
Exactly.
Robbins. I don't
Yeah.
particularly care for him, but he made a good distinction. To decide is okay, I'm going to go in this direction. To commit is I'm going to stay on the path until I
Exactly.
get there. And once I get there, I am going to stay there unless something calls upon me to grow and change. Beautiful. You see, I ask different questions. I told you I don't give a
You
fuck
sure do.
about
Yeah.
biographies, but let's keep going. Okay, you're dedicated to empowering individuals and startups to break boundaries and achieve extraordinary success. As the founder of Salesforce Catalyst and IRIS Vision Capital, IRIS, where'd you come up with that acronym?
Iris
And what
Vision
does it
Capital.
stand for?
Yeah. So Iris actually, Paul. So um, NASA has this thing, okay, where they name different kind of asteroids, different kind of stars, or when
Right.
they travel space, they name all different kind of stuff.
Hmm.
They name them behind Greek mythology and all these ancient uh, his stories. Okay, so iris actually was used in the ancient Egypt. Okay, to name, they name one of the asteroids in space actually called Iris. That's how I came across the name. But the meaning of Iris really is the
It's part
how do I say,
yeah.
the real word iris means the bridge between the invisible and the visible,
Oh,
right?
that's beautiful. Oh,
Exactly.
that's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we came with, we came up with, Aries Vision Capital in the sense that we always want to, because it's in the world of startups, the world of founders is always about innovation, right? In order for you to create, I believe at least that you have to tap into another dimension somehow, another wave of creativity, another flow of thinking. So how do we bridge a gap between who we are as human beings and the higher self? All right.
I love this. And
Exactly.
and
Yes,
all
sir.
right. See, this is far more interesting to me than the questions. Those are pacifiers for my guests. I want to know, what is your methodology for doing that? How do you breach? Uh, how do you create that bridge? How do you do it?
Well, I have my own personal routine that I've been doing for the more than 15 years now. I also created a little program for people that are interested. Is actually in the book Be Transformed: How to Live Free of Yourself, That and Low Self-Esteem. A 7-week program anyone can use to do that. And Paul, believe it or not, but how I do that is very, very simple. Okay. It's nothing that you need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in. No, 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 no. And everybody can actually do that today. You can get off the podcast right now, pause, go do it, come back. Okay. Or do it every single day. Now, so I have a routine, Paul. And how does that work? So, firstly, every single day, I make sure that I work my body, I work my mind, and I work my spirit. Okay. How do I do that every morning? Every morning when I wake up religiously, Paul, like with no fail, I do at least 100 push-ups and about 70 sit-ups. Yeah, you got arms, man. You got big arms along there. Yeah,
I got the
yeah, really.
guns, the
Yeah, you're
pythons.
powerful. Yeah. So I do that, and then next thing is definitely I go take a shower. But the second thing I do is I listen to at least 30 minutes to 1 hour of either a positive tape or a preaching or something, something to have the right story in the mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Away from the noise, just by myself and listen. And then the third thing that I do is I pray. Okay. I pray so that I can be connected to the source, because ultimately that is how I believe that is the ultimate way. Okay, we can fast, we can do all of that, but we have to pray and ask for divine guidance, and ask for those doors to be open in our mind so that our mind can be free from limitations. Because the only thing that stops us from actually plugging into that other space is our own limitations, right? So you want to pray to remove all those things out. So that is my method. It's simple as that.
See, I'm not asking the questions you expected, am
Not
I?
at all.
No, this is much more cool. You've impacted thousands of professionals, entrepreneurs, and executives worldwide, and you began in Togo. Your nickname is Action Man. All
Yeah.
right. Sounds like a superhero. Not Green Lantern, not Superman, but Action Man.
Yeah.
Action Man, sent here from the country Togo to transform lives and
EOD.
companies, startups, entrepreneurs. Action Man, who disguised as mild mannered Stephen Dossou, fights a
Yeah.
never ending battle for spiritual growth, profit, and changing customers' lives. So, on that note, let's get to this. You have a different way of looking at selling. Personally, I want to ask you about, and this is what caught my attention and why I don't even have to look at my phone to get this. You said something along the lines of salespeople should really look at themselves as educators. Now, I'm mangling the quote, but let's talk about that. Salespeople as educators.
Yeah. So with my number of years in sales, Paul, I've learned that you have I think, if let's say that there are a million people, a million salespeople in the world, I would first say that means we have a million way of selling.
I would
Okay.
say that means we have 900,000 broke people because most people can't sell worth shit.
Right. Now among those million ways of selling and with those 900,000 people, I, from experience, I believe that there are some optimal ways. Let me put it, there's some optimal
I love
ways
that word.
of getting the person you're talking to spend a little bit more money on you. Okay. Right. And I think the way to do that, firstly, it's for you, of course, to create that environment, to create that space where the person you're talking to feels the comfort to do that. Okay. But at the same time, you want to be able to be providing value, okay? Value as to not only about the product that you're selling, but I really believe that the great salespeople are the ones that provide, how do I say this, emotional value to the person that they are talking to,
No, 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 no,
right?
no, pause. What do you mean by emotional value? That's a very vague term. So I'm going to nail you down here.
Yeah, sure.
And
Let me
what do you mean by
let me jump in that. So, um, it reminds me of a very, very interesting story by Robert Cavey. I don't know if you know Robert Cavey. He's actually an American motivational speaker back in the 60s. Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So he makes this famous speech and he talks about how everybody likes to feel important. Everybody wants to feel important.
Yeah.
And he tells this story of how one afternoon he was at home and this young guy, this school boy, was selling Bibles door to door. Okay,
Mhm.
and he saw him coming, and he called his wife. He's like, "Hey, honey, come and see how I'm gonna put this kid to work right now. I'm just gonna make him talk and not sell a thing, not buy a thing." The wife
Ah.
is like, "Okay, I'm watching." The kid comes in, and the kid knocks at his door. He opens up, and as soon as the kid looks at him, the kid says, "Sir, please, what's your name?" He said, "My name is Robert Cave." And the kid goes like, "Oh, you are the Robert Cave?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he said, so instead of turning the kid away, he's like, "Please come in. How many Bibles are you selling? Let me buy a more." So so he was basically telling the story to depict the art of making somebody feel important. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Providing emotional value,
Okay.
right? So through your sales speech, it's not only a matter of talking blah 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 about the product, but it's about taking your time to really assess what is the emotional need of that person, building that bridge and making them feel important. And if you make them feel important, you have an ally. You have an ally, you have a person that will spend money on you.
Okay. In that moment, you have to
Yeah.
be able to evaluate pretty quickly what's their emotional need.
Yes.
Correct? So, how do you do
Correct.
that? This leads me to think, and here's what comes up for me as I think about this. Doesn't this mean you have to put your agenda aside and tune in to your prospect? And if that's what it means, a lot of salespeople, the hungrier they are, the newer they are, the less they can do that. So, do you teach your clients, how to put their agenda aside? By agenda, I mean they've got to make the sale. Do you have techniques for doing that in your book or when you train?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Paul, the truth of the matter is that when you push as a salesperson, when you focus mainly on your agenda, what you are doing is you are creating what I call a client with a short lifetime on shelf. Okay. But when you focus on what the client needs, you create a customer for life. You create a person that trusts you. Do you get what I'm saying? And I mean,
Yes,
if
I
if if
do.
we if we take the American economy for example, like some part of Southern Africa as well, it works on 7 or 15 days money back guarantee, right? Sometimes even 30 days money back guarantee. Okay. So what ends up happening? Sorry, you wanted to say something, Paul?
Oh, no, I have a Jewish money back guarantee. Absolute.
Okay.
No, listen, 100% satisfaction money back guarantee. If I'm not 100% satisfied with your money, I'll send it back. That's a Jewish money back guarantee. I can make
Right.
that joke, folks, because I am a Hebrew. Go ahead. You can go ahead. I had to
Yeah.
insert that. Sorry.
Sure. Now, Paul, the one thing I want to add to that is after you send it back, you are most likely not going to tell your buddies you have beer with on Friday evening. You're going to tell them not to buy from this guy. or you're not going to talk about the guy at all, right? Because he didn't give you the service that you need. But if you had a salesperson that really listened to your need, made you feel important, okay, and provided to you what you feel that you need at the time, let me tell you something, Paul. I've seen people in my career where the people that will come and say, like, Steve, I bought this thing. I didn't really need it, but you were so nice to me. I just wanted to buy this to support you. My wife wanted to return it, but we were like, nah, we're not gonna return this. That guy was too nice. So we don't want money to be deducted out of his commission. So I think it's a whole different mindset shift, right, in the sales game. Now, as younger, hungry salespeople, they push the numbers. But I think that's from my experience, that's where I see they end up being hurt 3-4 months down the line because they have $1 million of sales, but they have over 500 to 600,000 of worth of return, and of course that gets deducted out of their commission.
You used the word nice, and I'm going to push back here. My parents were wonderful people. They worked so hard. My mother gave
Okay.
up a career as a scientist to raise 6 kids. My father worked 3 jobs. Towards the middle of their lives, they began to sell real estate, and everybody liked them, but they eventually didn't buy for them because my parents were so focused on being liked, on being nice. So I'm going to push back here. If by nice you mean being liked, if being liked is the most important thing, you may lose the ability to guide the people to a decision that at first may be a little uncomfortable. I don't buy into the story that people always know what they need. They don't. You have to educate them to knowing what it is they need. So once you get them to like you, what is your process for educating them on? So you got them to like you, got them to you made them feel important. I get it. Now, what is your process for educating them?
Yeah,
Do you
Paul,
understand
I
what?
think in the case of your parents, I really want to comment on that real quick, if you don't mind, before I get into the
Sure.
education part, right? I think based on what you said, the problem that your parents really had, it wasn't that they were focused on really being liked. I think their main problem in terms of sales is that they couldn't close the deal.
Yes. Yes.
Right. There's a fundamental difference between focus on being liked and not being able to close the deal.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? Right. So,
Yes.
so I mean, I really think that as a salesperson, having the love of your client is a very important asset. But that should never stop you from actually getting down to detail and closing the deal. Unfortunately, you have a lot of salespeople where they get lost and end up not closing the deal. So the ability to close the deal is very important. I just wanted to hammer on that one.
No, I get that. That's I think self-evident. The
Yeah,
question is, here's what this brings up for me. A lot of salespeople are fine when they're having the conversation, when they're diagnosing the problem. And you say this in your questions and this is your idea in addition to being mine. You brought it up in your bio here. People buy from people who diagnose their problems or perceive that their diagnosis is accurate. I get it. Okay. But what I've often found in salespeople, I really want your feedback on this. It's not for me, you're the guest, and so it's you who need to do the talking. I found with a lot of salespeople, they're fine, but suddenly their vibe shifts, their voice shifts, their posture shifts when it comes to go for the close. You understand what I'm talking about,
of
correct?
course I do. Yeah.
So how do you help your clients not do that and stay even and stay steady?
Yeah. So when there's a very famous quote by what's his name? Um, uh, it's Dennis Wetley, right? And he has a very interesting quote. He says that when two people are walking, okay, in silence, or even walking apart, or even if they are conversing or not, he says that there is a silent conversation that happen in the rhythm at which they move. Okay, one person adjusts to the pace of the other.
True.
Okay, and they don't plan that, they don't set that, it just happens. Okay, now the same
True.
thing kind of happen when you have a prospect and a salesperson. Okay, so in the conversation, there's this silent contract that's happening as to who is the person controlling the conversation. There's a difference between the person dominating the conversation and the person controlling the conversation. Right. So what ends up happening with these salespeople that they're supposed to changes and they kind of lose the track is they lose control over the conversation. Right? They may be dominators of the conversation, but they're not controlling the conversation. That's the difference. Do you get what I'm saying?
Distinction. What's the distinction between dominating it and controlling it?
Very good. Let me give you a very simple example. All right. So a very interesting one. So I went on to this date, the other day. By the way, just like you, I really love blonde girls too. Okay, just so you know, I love this guy.
Hey, girls too. I like any woman who at this point in my old age says yes.
100%, right. So when I went to pick this girl up, right, she got in the car, we started driving, and she asked me, okay, yes, Steve, where you from? I told her, what do you do? I told her, And before I knew, she had this thing in where she would ask you 3 questions and then give you a little bit of information about her. And then she ask you 3 more questions and give you a little bit of information about her. Before I realized it, sorry?
She's interrogating you, not having a conversation.
Well, I mean, she was good at it. But before I knew, Paul, before I realized, we went 30 to 45 minutes in the conversation, and I had given so much information about me, and I knew very little about her. Right. Now, in that scenario, I was dominating the conversation, but she was controlling the conversation.
Yeah. Fatal error, man. You never let the woman control the conversation.
you get what I'm saying? So that is the distinction that I'm talking about, right? So being able to have a sales conversation with the client where you are the one always in lead, only then you are able to lead the client into a close.
Got it.
Yeah.
We actually are at our half-hour mark. See, I didn't even ask you is there anything you want to add? Because I'm so interested in you as a human and what really matters and what comes up. Tell us first and foremost, slowly say the name of your book, and is it available on Amazon?
Yes, it is available on Amazon.com.
What is it called?
Yeah, the title is Be Transformed. It's inspired by the Romans 12:2, the Bible verse Romans 12:2, do not conform to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And the title of the book is Be Transformed, How to Live Free of Fear, Self-Doubt, and Low Self-Esteem. I took basically my 10 to 11 years of having slept on the street, having been homeless, having spent 2-3 days sometimes without food, no water, having spent weeks in South Africa suffering, dealing with different kind of racism situations, going from a 2-bedroom shack with 9 siblings to leading a team of over 200 people, accounting for $20 to $30 million of sales yearly, building my own companies, having lived so far now in 20 countries. I basically detail in the book, how do you combat the biggest battles that matter the most? Because the battles within matter even more than the battles on the outside.
Amen.
And these battles within are the ones that are against fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem.
That's so true. And Tracy, who's my producer, will put the Amazon link to the title of your book. Any other way that I almost said students, but they're going to say any other way my audience can stay in the conversation with you?
Sure, please. Just go on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn lately. Stephen Dossou, STEVENDOSSOU, or go on StephenDossou.com, right? And shoot me a message. I'm always very happy to meet new people. Right now, we're working with founders, working with different kind of investment funds, fund managers, but I'm always happy to learn and travel and speak wherever you call me.
Fantastic. You've been an amazing guest. Stay with me for a little green room chat. Okay. Another great episode of The Influencer's Edge. And I close, as I always do, by saying to the hostile alien armada hovering just outside of Earth's atmosphere, in your cloaked spaceships, eat the Canadians first. They taste better. Yeah.
The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia. to crush objections like I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. This is the place where you come to get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques to leapfrog over the pack in sales, persuasion, and influence. Be sure you visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, tune in, and enjoy today's episode.